Hey guys, thank
Yo.
you for tuning in. As you guys can see, I have a special somebody here with me.
That's me. Yeah.
Alright.
Alright.
So I finally convinced hubby to film with me.
Yeah.
Actually, it took almost no convincing. I asked you once and you said yes.
I know. That's what marriage does to you, babe. It changes you. It makes you a better person.
I used to that. So we recently hit our 1 year anniversary. Actually, we hit it yesterday, so on Friday, because today the video is going out on Sunday.
Brilliant day.
And
It was. 1 year.
Brilliant day, jokes. And so I thought it would be nice for us to do a couples Q&A, answer any questions that you guys may have, and reflect on the 1 year.
Reflection is good. It's good for the mind, body, soul.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah. I love questions.
To start things off.
Yeah, let's do it.
How have you found the past year?
Funny enough, it's actually been great. It's been really good. I feel like it's been amazing. It's been great. It's not been as tough as I thought it would be. There have been sort of peak moments, but I feel like it's been good. It's been like it's been alright.
It's been alright. I think so. For me, I'd say the same, and there's no sugarcoating. I'm being very real with you guys. You know, we dated for 7 years before getting married, and I think that is really instrumental in why we got through the first year and can say that it was great. You know, we had all the ups and downs that you do when you have a young marriage. And so I feel we got a lot of the dirty stuff out of the way.
When you say dirty stuff, what do you mean?
Or just we haven't.
I'm joking. Yeah, of course,
So I can't talk for that. But a lot of the stuff I think couples would find difficult when they first move together. We just got it out of the way. We had learned how to speak with each other.
Yeah.
We learned how to communicate. You know, just get into that place where we've learned how to do all of that before, because we've been together for so long. So it just made the first year just feel kind of smooth.
Yeah.
But like you said, we've had our moments for sure, as you will do if you're living in the proximity that you do when you're married to someone. So
well, it's been really good, positive.
It's been cool. I've enjoyed it.
10 out of 10.
I could.
Yeah.
I could do it again.
Cool.
And again.
Anyway, it goes in the first question.
Yes, I've told hubby that we don't have a lot of time on the
4 or 5 questions?
Memory card.
4 or 5, yeah?
Yes,
right, cool.
The first question is, what advice would you give to young couples wanting to get married? One bit of advice from each.
Like you know nothing. Do you know what?
That's so rude.
Actually, thinking about it, we went to a cousin's birthday party a couple of weeks ago. He was turning 24 or something. I don't know. The details doesn't matter. And we met this couple who were about to get married, and they had that sort of gleaming sort of look, like a love. And I was just laughing in my head because I had like an epiphany moment where I was just like, you know, uncles and aunties who've been married for like 20 years or 30 years, and how they see people who are just recently getting married, and they must just be like, you guys have no idea what you're getting yourself into. Because a part of me wanted to be like, you're too young, don't do it. And I feel like, because I'm quite cynical by nature, I'm quite cynic, I feel like I probably put him off getting married, so he looked disgusted. He was just like...
It wasn't that bad, he was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just telling him like, marriage is tough, and like...
Wait, this was Lou. It's tough, mate, it's tough. I was sitting there like, sorry, what now? I was like, what?
Yeah, it was quite awkward, but in terms of advice for young couples, it's quite controversial because like we talk about this all the time, and I feel like in today's generation, as a guy, if you're not over 28, and I feel like I'm mature for my age anyway, but if you're not over like 28, I wouldn't recommend getting married. And for females, like 26, 27, but I know some uncles and aunties will be like, as soon as you finish uni, they're just on your case. But it's a different time, and like it's just not a maturity thing. You just have to be in a certain place in life, both like financially, mentally, and like emotionally as well. Because I feel like you just need to be a certain age, I feel.
Okay, so your advice is to be a little bit older.
Yeah, much older, 28, 29,
So
30.
there's maturity in different areas of your life.
Yeah, it's just more balance. It's more, rather than, because I feel like a lot of people get married at a young age and they become very independent of their spouse. But I feel like the older you get, the more like interdependent you can sort of become. And I think that's where successful marriages sort of excel, when people are grounded. And I feel like age comes with that, but that's just some more traditional.
But then I was 25 when we got married, so
and I still feel that was quite young, because you're quite a bit of a granny, aren't you? Like, you've got like a mental age of a 30 or like a 40-year-old or something.
Oh, don't push it loud. I'll claim the mental age, of course.
So even with that, like, it still has its challenges. But yeah, I think we're just cut from a different cloth from our parents. And I know people say that all the time, like, oh, back in my days. But yeah, I feel like our generation is way different, and like, yeah, I would recommend getting married at a young age.
Okay, so my bit of advice would be, it's kind of threefold. First of all, I'd say, make sure that you really know your partner, know them to the extent that you can be vulnerable around them and they can be vulnerable around you. Know their family, know just the ins and outs of them. Are they what their mood is usually like, what kind of character they have, what their morals are, before you take that step into marriage. Because I feel that, if you see someone, they look great on the outside, and you think that marriage will be a time where they change for the better, you could be really, really wrong. So make sure that you know that person in and out before you marry them, so that things come as less of a shock to you when you do.
Yeah, it's really good advice though. Really
and good. Also to be like financially stable.
Very true. That's
really important. Trust me, love is all good and grand, but if you're not financially stable, they say, and my dad says this all the time, that finances can ruin a marriage. And in this day and age, let's be real, it is important to be financially stable and secure. There are so many, things out there that a lot of us women and men desire to have, and so if you're not financially stable, it will definitely take its toll on your marriage.
Very true, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, obviously the love has to be there and all of that. Okay, so the next question. Oh boy, we're gonna disagree on this one.
Okay.
How did you meet?
How did we meet? Like, my first memory of like meeting, like officially meeting you, was a phone conversation that you called. She called my phone, and she was looking for someone's number who I'm sure like all her other friends could have had that number, and she was just like, oh yeah, like I want so and so's number, and I was just like doesn't so and so have the number? And she was like, oh yeah, of course. And that was just it. And obviously I had the number from that time, and then we just kind of started talking, and that was like my first, so she kind of begged it with me to.
What?
But you have a different story, don't you?
I have a different story. And
make sure it's factual as well. Like, don't just make up things. I think people will be able to tell anyway.
Whatever. Anyway, so my personal first memory, don't interrupt.
Sure.
It's my memory. My first memory was myself and family had started to go to the same church that he was raised in.
Yep.
And we had an occasion where, I think we walked past each other or what have you, and he stopped and said, oh, hi, said, my name's Lalu, what's your name? And I said my name, and then homeboy sniggered. He was like,
or just like that?
No, not like that.
Okay.
I'm joking, I'm taking the mic.
Yeah,
but
sure.
He sniggered, and I just thought to myself, so immature. I was like, what a jerk.
How old were we?
Wait, we were young.
Right,
we were young. But that memory stuck with me. I just thought, cocky, arrogant.
Well, because I was being nice, and I was like...
No, because you sniggered. It was just so inappropriate.
Right,
and I thought to myself, he's not cute anymore. I thought he was cute, but he's immature.
Sure.
So that's my memory. And we both disagree. Well, I don't disagree. He disagrees with my memory, but it's mine. It belongs to me, not to you.
But I guess what we agree is that we had like the same sort of social circle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We met through church, and we had the same friends.
Yeah. And I think that's a lesson as well, because like most people think when they want to get married, they're gonna find this random person from Adam or from wherever. But the likelihood is the person you're going to get married to, you've met, probably gone past them before, or it's a friend of a friend, and I think that's how it sort of tends to work. So when you meet people, just don't snigger apparently, because that puts them off.
Or just be open to conversation.
Yeah.
Even if you're always in the same social environment, still make that effort to talk to whoever, because you never know who they're going to introduce you to, or it could even be them.
Yeah, this is it.
You never know. Okay, cool.
Great.
So the next question: what was the greatest transition from being single to being married?
Greatest transition. Ooh. Do you want to go ladies first in that? Apparently that's sexist. Ladies first.
No, it's alright. I'll take it.
Okay, cool.
So for me personally, the greatest transition was sharing my time and space with someone. I, prior to getting married, was very in love with me time. I love to spend time with myself. I'm happy to do Netflix and chill by myself. So moving in with someone and spending so much time with them and not being able to just be like, oh, can I, have the living room to myself for the next 5 hours? Or, can I do this by myself? Can I go out to eat by myself? Having that was a huge task for me. Just learning to spend quality time with someone else and not to be Miss Independent about everything. Learning to share me and learning to want to spend time with someone else.
Right, okay, cool. So to sharing your time. I think for me, it's just having to make certain decisions. Like, I guess when you're single or when you're dating someone, like you're not with them all the time and you don't have that sense of accountability to them. So I'll tell you a story. I remember who was it? One of my friends, he was down from another country, and we sort of went out for drinks, and it was a bit of a late night. And I came home, I can't remember what time I came home.
5 a.m. Can you be at 5 in the morning?
And it took me back to when I was like 15, like going out to like a party and coming home at like 2 o'clock, and your parents are like just waiting on the couch waiting for you. And she was awake. Why were you awake?
I couldn't sleep.
And I was just like, it was so awkward. Because I felt quite embarrassed. It's like your wife's at home and then you come out, and, do you know what I mean? And you come back home, and it was just like, and she was just giving me like one-word answers and stuff.
Yes, no.
So I guess that transition, and I guess since then, it's just more about like trying to make an effort to go out together, and if someone invites you. I know everyone's different. I don't expect like every sort of relationship to have the same rules. And that's why it's important to sort of know what your partner likes. Like I was talking to a friend of mine at work the other day, and like there's this sort of like she's single and she sort of went to Westfields with another woman's husband.
And a married man.
A married man basically. And like I was just like, what? Like I can't imagine like going to Westfields
with another
woman, like a single woman, like yeah.
Madness.
So yeah, I guess it's just that transition with regards to like making certain choices. Like if your friends like, oh yes, let's go out, you gotta ask the missus like, do you want to come, or like So it's just those kind of decisions. I feel like it just makes sense. Like prevention is I guess prevention is better than cure. Like people always say, oh, I'll never do this, I'll never do that, but like if you don't sort of put yourselves in those sort of situations, like if you don't sort of promote that kind of lifestyle, then it won't come looking for you unless you're like Idris Elba. It was Idris Elba, right? That film, the film with Beyonce, was that it? Obsession. Yeah. Unless you're him, but I mean I don't look like Idris, so
Idris ain't got nothing on you. That's what I meant to say.
So just making decisions for both that benefit both of us rather than myself.
So that was your greatest transition.
Greatest transition, yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Lovely. So, what lessons have you learned in the past year? Can I?
Yeah, go for it.
People said this a lot before we got married, and it really annoyed me because I was like, it sounds like, a record playing over and over. Communication is important. And I thought, tell me something new. But I'm gonna tell you, communication is important. It really, really is. Especially, I'll tell you what I'm like. I'm the type of female that if someone offends me or someone upsets me, I go into a quiet place. It's not necessarily that I bear a grudge against them, but the hurt just really sticks with me for a while and causes me to just want to be by myself, aka reverting into pre-marriage Miss Independent. So, whereas on the other hand, the other person, aka hubby, has no idea why I'm upset, what he's done, just thinks, life is going on as normal. And until I communicate how I feel with him, there'll be no change. So I've learned that just saying right then and there that something has upset me and has frustrated me will honestly help to resolve an issue so quickly, because most of the time he's like, oh my gosh, really? Is that how you feel? Is that what I've done? Okay, I apologize. With him, things can be resolved instantly. So just communicating and not allowing myself to get into that mood. Second thing, and I shared this on the blog, I have a new post up that's called 8 Things I Haven't Loved About Being Married for a Year. Second thing is not to overdo it. I think for me, I was raised in a Nigerian household and my mum cooked pretty much 99.9% of the time. And I just had expectations of myself. I wanted to be the world's best cleaner or, house cleaner. I wanted to be the world's best cook. And so I overdid it, and I felt I was putting all of this pressure on myself that he wasn't demanding. So I just kind of went over and above and felt myself just getting really, really tired. So the lesson was just to take things at a pace that works for both of us, and to just always, express when I feel low or when I feel down or when I feel like I'm kind of overdoing it. And he's usually the person that just kind of makes everything okay, and he's like, nobody asked you to do that, don't do it, So communication and not overdoing it.
Cool, yeah, those are some really good ones, yeah, communication. I remember before we got married, one of my uncles, we went for dinner, and he just kept on saying, look, one thing I need to tell you is, as a man, traditional ego, you need to get rid of your ego. And I just, at first I thought I was talking about ego. I was like, what, ego? Ego. And then I just didn't understand what he meant. But now, and this is like a grown man, really successful, and I didn't really understand what he was talking about. But now I get it, it's just, you just any kind of pride or any misconceptions of marriage or what marriage should be you had from pictures and stuff like that, that just gets thrown out the window, and you just got be level with the person you're with, because at the end of the day, she's a human being, I'm a human being. So yeah, just patience and just get rid of any sort of pride or arrogance or conceptions of what you feel like a marriage should be.
Thank you. Last question. We thought this was a good one, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned, and that's referring to me, you were out of work for some time. How did you and your husband cope on one salary?
Sure. Do you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can both, I think we have always both been savers. We've always been good with money management.
Yeah.
I've worked from really young and had been saving from there. Thank you, parents, for teaching me how to be a saver.
Yeah.
But that was something that was instilled from really, really young, save. So we were both savers, and prior to getting married, we were willing to put the wedding on hold to make sure that, yes, okay, we might have the money for the wedding, but do we have money for life after the wedding? And not just 1 month of rent, but, a couple of months, if not a year, to survive if, God forbid, anything happens. So we were just really financially prepared.
Right.
And so when that time came, hubby was still working, but we had savings we could eat into to keep us afloat.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. I think it's just growing up, just having that sort of element of money management and sort of taking, just having that idea of what your income is, what your expenditure is, and just basic principles that I think it's important that people, it's things that you don't get taught at school, but it's just, I guess it's just being aware and being quite like. So I think we go like OTT with it. Like we're quite OCD. Like
Excel sheets and
Excel
everything.
sheets and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's just having that good understanding of like finance, and I guess you worked in finance before. I was in banking and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess it's just having a good understanding of like money, and just kind of sticking to that as well. And like Fee said, just like being really good with savings and stuff. But everyone's sort of situation, financial situation is very different, and you know, like you just gotta know what you have and sort of live within your means, which was something that I feel like my parents, and I'm sure your parents, sort of did really well, and hopefully we can emulate that in our kids as well, and just, you know, build.
Yeah. So I think that is it.
Like it's been quite fun, but like I don't know, I'm quite of a free spirit, so I thought maybe next time we just chat and just
chat.
Rather than have questions and that, just.
You'll be willing to do this again?
Yeah, of course. Why not, man? This is you got to compromise. That's what being in love and getting married does. You just do things that you never really thought you would.
True that. Very true.
Yeah. It's been great. Like, yeah.
So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any other questions, do feel free to put them in the comments section, and he said he would do another video.
Sure.
So if you have any topics you want us to cover, then please do let us know, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.